Travel and Things in association with Sun Destinations, iconic destinations with amazing experiences, present In Conversation With. I'm your host, David Batsoffen, and I'm joined all the way from the Eastern Cape via carrier pigeon, probably, the great adventure guys. And that's Frank and Roland. Guys, good morning. Welcome to you.
Good morning.
Morning, thank you.
Awesome to be chatting to a legend like yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you. The check is in the post. So
With the pigeon.
with a pigeon, so it may take
Yes.
a while. It may get eaten along the way, Roland. Who knows?
Who knows? Who
So
knows?
let me ask you the question. What the heck is this all about?
Okay. Okay. So just to let you know, this is Frank. I call him Frank the Man Martins, my cousin. Okay. He can
Okay.
find anything, fix anything, learn anything, research anything, build anything. He just said to me at the beginning of this whole thing, I will go to war with you. Just do not make me talk on camera. So I was like, okay, deal. So you'll notice one of us talks more than the other, and that is not for any other reason other than one of us likes to and the other one doesn't.
Okay, so Frank will just nod.
Right, I do that very well.
Yeah, I've
Well, I
noticed.
always like it when he nods, then we tend to proceed. It's when he's doing this that I get worried, So here's the story. Two
Yes.
51-year-old guys, we were 50 at the time,
Right.
meet after 20 years of being on different continents. We were those little boys from that series Stranger Things, the guys on their bicycles going into the woods and everything. We grew up as those little boys in the 80s. You may not be old enough to remember that, David, but in the 80s, playing around, bicycling, camping overnight in the bush, just building things, all sorts of, it was a crazy time, but we really bonded.
They were called Boy Scouts, Roland.
Those were only the organized ones. Those were only the organized
Ah.
ones. We were he might have,
Never.
no, neither of us were ever actual Boy Scouts, but we
Okay.
did all the tasks on the list, the camping,
Yes.
the knots, the tree climbing, the everything
Okay.
informally. Allegedly, if our mothers find out, it'll be a problem. So
Right.
anyway, we go off in camp 20 years. We go in totally different directions. He goes to America, has half a dozen different careers in America. I stay here, have half a dozen different careers here. 20 years later, end of last year, we come back together and we rediscover that we still have that awesome bond. And that's the two of us on the beach as we just made the fire turn blue. So we've had a very like Mythbusters vibe. Yes, we did it. We did it. So that's the nature of how we've rediscovered our joint passions, even though we went in completely different directions for careers for years.
Right. So what is the basis? And Frank, I'm going to, because you don't like talking, I'm just going to throw the questions out. You can answer or not, or Roland, I know will step in. So
Give it a try, something.
what was the basis? Did you just go, let's find stuff that will kill us, perhaps, and then we'll do that to prove that 250-year-olds can actually get by with a medical aid and a Land Rover type of thing.
And a tent.
And a
Yeah. No, no,
tent.
basically what happened was it's a very interesting story, which I think a lot of people might be able to relate to. And that's this. We're sitting at there's a photo there somewhere of the two of us going cheers with a drink. Now, what happens is we went cheers like that at St. Francis Bay, where my birthday being in January. Oh, we got to tell you about that one. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. So there's one where are saying cheers. We get together. We say, hey, we are still great mates or whatever. I then say to Frank, let's go. I had a lot of concerts that I was emceeing at the time because I worked in commercial radio. And it was a series of concerts that I was at. And he came back after 20 years away and got straight into the behind the scenes VIP seating area by virtue of having to wait for the idiot who was working there all night. And he actually was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I love these bands. When I look again, here's Frank fraternizing with all the big bands from South Africa. I mean, like
That's funny.
Majosi and who else?
Just
Nick,
ginger.
Rubber Duck, Just Ginger, all those guys.
Ross.
And backstage, Ross Learmonth. Here's Frank bonding with all those guys. Frank, the self-proclaimed introvert. You know? I know you might not. I don't know where you see yourself on the spectrum, introvert, extrovert, David.
I'm taking the fifth on that.
There's
The
also the adapted extrovert.
yeah, well, we're not going that far. But now talking about
Ah,
extroverts, how the hell did you film a mermaid?
We didn't. This is the thing. This is a viral video clip that's gone all over the world on TikTok, 41 million views. So we said, this mermaid, this thing, the whole
Mhm.
debate is, are mermaids real? Aren't they real? We were like, well, if they are, we're going to find them. And if we are, we're going to find this one. And if we can. So we just looked into it. So our adventure started with us deciding, okay, what if we could do anything we wanted to do? Because we were bemoaning. We're sitting there going, oh, woe is us.
Mhm.
Oh, no house, no car, no this, no that, no responsibilities, no. Hang on, what was that last one? No responsibilities. So we
Yeah.
could go anywhere, anytime. And if you could, what would you do? Would film it. And if you could be anything, what would you be? Epic.
Epic.
So we decided to just look into things. And we actually found out that this clip was filmed not only in South Africa, but in the Eastern Cape where our adventure started. That
No
was
kidding.
taken in Jeffreys Bay, I believe. And between here and East London, there are more than one pool, Mermaid's Cove, Mermaids this, Mermaids that. And we
Oh,
reckon we know exactly where to find her. We have tracked her down and we are going to find that mermaid. Not a mermaid, that
that
one.
one.
Yeah. Yes, that guy.
Now,
I'm gonna fight
I must just
that
explain
guy.
to the
Hmm.
people who are watching this. I have no control over the images that Roland sent me after what was meant to have been a 45-minute wait, sort of
Hmm.
17 hours later. So it's the Eastern Cape. I forgive him, having grown up there. I know time moves differently there. And this
Well,
picture popped up. I have no idea who he is, why he is, or what looks like a dead baboon in the background.
yeah,
But maybe this
yeah,
symbolizes what you and Frank
yeah.
are setting out to do.
Well, if you could be anything, be epic. So we found out. So what we're doing is, do you remember those great guys that did Going Nowhere Slowly? I
Yes,
think it was who was it Kurt and the guys from Cape
yes,
Town
yes, in that
that did
huge Cadillac thing.
yes.
Yes,
We all loved that show. If you saw that show, chances are, like us, you love that show where they go
yeah,
all over these little places you might not ordinarily stop at. You drive through Stainsburg and Janssenville and Noordpoort and wherever, and they stop there and there's something interesting there and they find it. I loved that. So we
yeah.
thought, let's do that, but let's throw in a bit of Mythbusters and a bit of Jackass as well. So we saw this guy and I said, you know what? We are going to find a place. Apparently in Kenton, there's one. There could be another couple where there are natural amphitheaters. And what's the only responsible thing a man can do with an amphitheater?
White
Dress up like
animals.
Russell Crowe. Are you not entertained? Bring me your finest warrior. And then that guy steps out. How epic would that be?
It
And
would
he's not
be.
just a guy. He is there as you see him. That is the lead character in David and Goliath. He's Goliath in the movie, and he is booked and confirmed, and he's on his way to fight me in an amphitheater. And on top of that, it turns out he's the original gladiator, the OG. Do you remember MTN Gladiators all those years ago?
Yes, of course. Oh, hang on a second. I know who this. This is
Granite!
Garth. This is Garth.
Right.
Granite! The original gladiator. If you're gonna fight a gladiator, fight the OG.
I worked with Garth and I interviewed
You
him while on
see,
radio. Yeah. Please send him.
then
I'll
you will
come
know.
down.
And you've worked to
When are you
drink.
fighting him? I'll come down and do a live a,
Meet greet.
I think you
a live
should. I think, and
podcast from
also,
there.
for everyone who thinks, oh, these guys are just talking big, you've worked with me and you've worked with Garth. Is there a distinct size, weight, height, strength advantage?
Yeah, you're much bigger than he is.
Ha! Thank you.
We're talking about egos.
Oh,
Talking
head
about
diameter.
egos, I had to
Ah,
slip this one in, Roland. Frank won't know what this is, but you and I do.
I've got some of the backstory of it.
he's
Yeah.
heard the story. Well, you want to tell the story or do I?
You
I'd
can
like to
tell
hear
the
your
story.
story. Okay, I'll start with mine. So fast forward. Picture it, Sicily, 1982.
1948. Yeah.
I was a young goat herder. Anyway, so pardon me, we were filming, and I think it was wrestling at the time,
It
right?
was wrestling on the beach in
Yes.
Port Elizabeth.
That's it. So I was the ring announcer for the wrestling. I was just
Correct.
getting ready. And some photographers, I won't mention like who David Batsoff and kind of photographers they might be, like to catch these really candid, true emotion shots behind the scenes. And you get some epic photos that people weren't posing for. He snaps this photo, and to this day, neither of us knows what I was looking at or what I was thinking. But it became a bit of a thing. He
It's a
posted it for
tradition.
1 year.
It pops
Yeah,
up.
like on the
I
28th
Yeah, I
of
couldn't
December.
find it when I looked for it yesterday. And then I thought, no, hang on a second. Let me just go to our WhatsApp conversations. And lo and behold, there it was.
So once a year, every year, David posts this photo on my timeline and goes, "It's time." And nobody knows why,
Yeah,
including the two of us.
it
But
doesn't
we
matter.
still, I think it's because whatever I was looking at or thinking, some of that stuff happened this year. I think that's what we're saying.
Well, some of that stuff may happen on your new adventures.
Well,
So,
that's when it was forming. So there, yeah. So
yeah.
there, what you see is Nick from Rubber Duck with his glasses in the dictionary where it says cool. There's actually
Mhm.
a moving picture of Nick. He's like the definition of cool. And then you want to talk about talent, energy, creativity. You've got Majorzi on the other side.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing was Frank and Majorzi are having a chat. I go and pose with Nick, and Frank jumps in, and Majorzi says, "I want to be in the photo with Frank too." So not with Roland, who I've known for years. No,
Yeah.
with my new buddy Frank. So then I realized we got the same energy. There's Ross Learmonth. In
Yeah.
fact, we
Oops.
absolutely love him, love him, love him. And Frank wears a cap. I actually
And
bought
this
him a
is
cap. I got Ross to sign it, and he wears it on the adventures.
okay. And this is odd, isn't it? This is
That's
just
correct.
Ginger.
It's just Ginger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We're
those are
all getting
the
it just
original
a
guys. Yeah.
tad. I have to say that this dude looks totally like, do I really have to be in this picture? I
Yeah,
don't
we kind of
want
felt the
to.
same way.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where we were discussing this the other day. The Just Ginger guys,
Yeah.
um, they have this energy. So the rubber duck guys and guys again, they have this energy of like, when's the next party? When's the next party? Put us on stage and point. And even if they're not on, they're running around backstage, whatever. Whereas the Just Ginger guys, it's like they've got this energy until they play. So I can't decide if they're like have had their years of setting up and they're like, oh gosh, are they going to get it right? Or the sound guys,
Yeah.
or we don't like traveling and having to carry 66 cases anymore. We've done our years. There's some like been here, done that before, and then when they're on stage, boom. Okay, so this was a total
Talking about,
accident.
hang on, I must piggyback on your boom because this
Yes,
picture is like sort of life's a gas.
Or
bro. So Frank changed my life. This was a part of our journey towards this thing. So we've come back after 20 years on different continents. We've done all this work. We've had all these various careers, and we're sitting there going, "Yeah, this is cool." Frank says to me, "In coming back from America, I've visited a lot of people, and it was like they got the same stories. So you go and see your friend that you saw 12 years ago. You visit him 4 years later, and you're chatting around the fire, and he's telling you stories. You come back 7 years later, and a lot of those same stories are coming up.
Mm.
And as men, as we get older, I'm not going to say we all do it, but it does happen. When the stories, oh, when we were in our glory
Yeah.
days, we used to. And Frank just looked at me and he said, I don't want to change the world. I just want to have new stories. I want to make new stories every year." And it
Frank,
hit me like
I,
a ton
I
of
I hear
bricks.
what you're saying because sort of it started with my child who kept saying to me, Dad, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. I've
Mm,
heard,
mm.
and now my group of friends that we have coffee together every day, I'll start a story and one of them will go, yeah, we know that one. And I'm going, no, even my friends are complaining now. Now it's time to go out and make new, as you say, make new stories. But can I pause you here for a second,
Yes.
guys? Roland, what was it like for you having to give up radio? Was it an because us radio people, we give it up, but then we get a hankering. It's an addiction. You can't give it up for too long.
The best expression I heard was years ago. It was probably someone like Tony Sanderson or one of the guys from those days who said to me,
Mhm.
some people are in radio, other people, radio is in them.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in the latter category, you will struggle a bit. In my case, what's really jazzing me at this point in time is that I didn't run away from radio. So sometimes you have to move away from radio because of
Yeah.
some reason. For example, you're moving out of that area where the station is located, or they're
Yeah.
changing their format, or you need to take a job opportunity. There's something that is making you move away from radio. And I didn't run away from radio this time around. I ran towards something that is more layered. So, in other words, if somebody asks you to paint as an artist with three colors,
Mm.
black and brown and gray, you can. You're an artist. You
Oh yeah.
can. But your expression will be limited by those colors. Now, in commercial radio, you have three things to work with, and that is you have to work with audio, you have to
Mm,
work with words like vocals, but also
mm,
words, and then you got tone. So you add those three things together and you paint with them, and I suppose the fourth one would be timing. And
yeah,
you can go in and you have to do it. But it's almost like the difference between writing an article for a magazine at 2,000 words and then writing a tweet or an X, as they call it nowadays. So I go
yeah,
from 2,000 words to less than 100 words. You have got the skill and you can take the time to write something compelling that is digestible and easy and whatever.
yeah.
And that's what commercial radio is. And it's wonderful and it is an art form. But
Mm,
it's like basically Frank and I chatting went. So basically, are you telling me if we did this, I could paint with more than three colors? I could add in visuals, I could add
mm.
in situations, I could add in stories, I could add in lighting, I could add in day and night, I could add, and so it just became a three-color palette to a 12-color palette. So
Wonderful.
yes, it's tough. It's tough to walk away, but it was walking towards an expansion of my
Yeah.
particular art. Not that other people may have the same thing.
Yeah, but you also didn't change. You didn't go from being in radio to going to become an accountant,
Sure,
which would have been a huge leap. Having said that,
sure.
Frank, were you in any of your iterations, were you an accountant somewhere along the line?
No, no, no. So I'm more or less in the technical fields kind of thing.
Okay. All right.
That's why we work well together because that's what I like doing and that's what he doesn't like doing. So
Yeah,
So,
he talks you fiddle, so to
yeah.
speak.
and let me tell you, the focus, eh? The
Yeah.
hours,
Uh,
the detail. It's actually like that's the one where that we said, "Hey, welcome back. We're just reconnecting," and that sort of became the picture of our journey. But
Okay.
this picture wouldn't give you a proper picture because it looks like Frank's the big, excited, extroverted one, and I'm like the quiet one. But this is because it's after a day of doing something. He's
Ah.
excited because now he gets to go and edit and rewire and do all that stuff. Yes, it's my time now. That guy's finished with his
There
time.
you.
I don't have to deal
And
with
this is once
people.
the edit is finished and all that's done, then you can sit. No, gaan ons braai.
This actually represents after the moment where we said, "Oh, look how much we've lost in our lives. We're
Mhm.
51-year-old men who have nothing." And then we said, "Wait, but we could do anything." We literally, what some of the nothing that we have revolves
Mhm.
around being tied to a specific place and date and schedule.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, forget the other stuff you don't have. What do you have? Opportunity. And then we went, "Let's go." And that was the moment.
So where can people find you? I mean, we're chatting all around the
Mm,
Great Adventure guys. How
mm,
do people find you? I've been to your YouTube channel, so I know there are about, I think, four or
mm,
five videos up already.
mm. Yeah, considering
Talk,
it's not even 3 weeks old.
well, there
I
you
mean,
go.
this
You guys
adventure
are
started on
cracking
the
along.
1st of May.
Yeah, like this. Rambo 1 and Rambo
Yes,
1.5.
we put the moor in Kookamoor. And we're from Springs, bro, from the East Rand, not the East Rand, the far East Rand.
The
Like
very
further
far
east
east.
than Brakpan, bro.
I was going to say,
No,
you're
take
so
us
far
serious.
East Rand, you're in the Eastern Cape now.
Well, we'll be in Eastern Europe before you know it.
Hey,
Yeah.
looking at this particular picture, you guys could be in Ukraine. Um,
Yeah, we're just worried about being drafted. That's why we started making funnier ones.
so what is are there any limitations? I mean, can people comment on your YouTube channel, which is called
Hmm.
the Great Adventure Guys?
Great adventure, guys. Great adventure, guys. Can I pick
Oh,
it up there?
he's got
Great
merchandise, people.
adventure.
He's got merchandise. It might only be one
Absolutely.
t-shirt,
And
but it's merch.
so we started with The Great Adventure, but there are a lot of The Great Adventures on YouTube. So we
Mhm.
just tweaked it a little bit and made it Great Adventure Guys. So you
Okay.
just search Great Adventure Guys, and then you'll see a picture of the two of us. We AI'd it to look like we're in Mad Max,
I
Road
saw that.
Warriors.
That's most impressive. It really and
And
truly
a
is.
friend of mine sent a response to that, and he said, "As die ou manne ernstig raak, nee. As jy and the old men get serious, stuff is serious."
Ja, hier kom kak.
Net so. Net so. So
That's what
Great
it says
adventure,
on
guys. Hmm?
the back of your t-shirt. Of daar
Actually,
gaan
funny you
kak.
should mention that. It says, can you see it?
Crew. Yeah.
It says crew, and the lovely joke is that we both have one, and everywhere we go, people say, "Oh, where's the rest of the crew?" And we say, "No, no, it's us, it's two of us,
Yeah.
but we each have 6 careers. We travel as a group of 12, but we only need 2 rooms."
Fair enough. So my question was, and I am trying to keep
What's the
focus here.
limit?
Not only what's the limit, can
Or
people
limitations?
who subscribe to your channel, go and visit it, go, why
Yes.
don't you try X, bungee
Of
jumping,
course.
nude penile bungee jumping?
Okay. Okay. You're right. I must specify.
Yeah.
Ideas are always welcome. Many will be scrapped at face value. The number of people who have asked to see me in some kind of minor underwear or something, I don't know. I've put on the weight. I've got the round shape. Why are we wanting me in a G-string, people? Let's just say no to that, please. And I also
Li-
did get a cease and desist from Speedo, so I can't wear a Speedo.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
Because I wore a Speedo a few years ago. I did one of those Hollard runs for
Yeah,
cancer.
but I mean that's context, and it's you. Yeah, come on.
Well, I wasn't, trust me, and around me wasn't. And for me, it was hugely cathartic. Just, you think everybody's going to be looking at you because you're wearing a Speedo and your body
Right.
isn't what it should be. And then you realize that you're surrounded by, I don't know, 2,000 other people who are either worse or better than you, and nobody gives a
Hmm.
rat's rear end. They really and truly don't.
Yes.
I ran
But
be
that's part of what. Yeah.
no, I ran behind a father and two sons, and they were Tom, Dick, and Harry because their names were on their
Ah,
on their speedos.
you can't make it up. It's
You ca-
beautiful. But what
you
I love,
can't.
especially about the Hollard one, is
Yeah,
that it is a statement of get beyond your fear, get beyond the things that limit you, and look at your health and take steps forward and don't be afraid. That was
yeah.
the headshot. You know, guess which one of us is a more accurate shot? And which one's got a broader head to aim at?
Was this fun? I've never participated. I've never tried paintball.
It really is fun. It really is. It's a lot of fun when you're shooting.
Yeah, but the pain, not so
Marginally
much.
less when you're getting shots, just
I
saying.
had a lot of fun.
Frank, with his great aim, had a lot of fun. This is where we're
This,
recreating. Do you remember Commando?
yes, I love this image of you. I really and truly do. It's very
Basically, it's part of
evocative.
a,
I
it's
don't know
part of
what
our
it's
style.
evocative of, Roland, but it's evocative of
Well,
something.
Right? It's stirring emotions. I just don't know what they are.
Exactly.
what I love about Frank as a DOP is he's looking at the stuff going, this is so archetypal. Not sure of what, but it's dialing into something. Let's do it. Because
Listen,
our thought is, hmm?
have you had the lawyer's letter from Sly alone going cease and desist? This is my
We measure our success by cease and desists, and we're a bit short on them now, people. But the main thing here is that we wanted to so everything we're doing, we're going, if you could do it, how would you do it in a fun way? We've got three rules we live by. Three rules. It's
Yeah.
our corporate policy. Number one, have fun. Number two, don't stop learning. Number
Mm.
three, don't stop. That's it. So you got to keep learning and growing. And so what we thought is, if you could do absolutely anything, oh my gosh, why don't you go look for a grave in Ngoba in Craddock? And you won't believe whose grave is in Craddock. A
Well,
real live person. Oh, he's not live anymore. He used to be. Who is buried there? Harry Potter.
how did you find this story, guys?
Well, I have to give props to another Eastern Cape travel. Well, he's like an OG Eastern Cape travel. I don't know what they're called, maven of stories. His name
Yeah.
is Jonker Firefly, the travel guide.
Mm.
So he's an Eastern Cape legend in terms of collecting these random things in strange places. So we started out and I said to him, listen, can we use your research? Can we have a look at it? Can you be a consultant for us to tell us where the most interesting things are? And he
Mm.
was like, absolutely, sure, no problem. And so he then he told us, hey, have you noticed there's a gravestone of Harry Potter in Craddock? I'm like, and no one's talking about it. Why? So off we went to film in the cemetery at Craddock, and Frank, the man, he just made it happen. Roland's like, let's film in a cemetery, like 180, 200-year-old cemetery. And he's like, great, I'll just make sure there's lighting and smoke machines and this and cameras and stands and yeah, just the two of us. That's great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Roland. I'll make sure it happens.
When did Harry Potter die?
1910 at the age of 44, 46, 46, 89 years before the first book was ever written. So we're asking the question, okay? Spoiler alert, if you see this, don't tell the people who are going to see the episode. But we're asking the question, He died in 1910 at the age of 46.
Hmm.
89 years before the first book was written. The books were set when he was 11 in 1991 in the book. What if that's just a license on behalf of the author? Because King's Cross, where he goes through platform 9 3/4, that was
Hmm.
opened in 1852. So if the books are up
Ah.
by 100 or just a bit more years, Harry Potter could be real and he could have died in 1910 in Cradock, Nguba, in South Africa. And the books could be a real history of the magics, and we just don't know it because we're muggles.
But this is a
So
wonderful shot. I mean, this looks like a. Did you go wandering around to see who else interesting may or may not be buried there?
we, yeah,
Well, it got dark pretty quick, so
Ah.
I think we
we,
wanted to, but it was
we did find
cold.
one other one. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
cold.
was cold and
Hmm.
dark.
Yeah, it was cold and dark, and Frank had 16 pieces of equipment to manage. Yeah. But
Okay.
there was one other grave there that you'll be very interested in. I forget his name. It's a very interesting German name, but there was one of the explorers that went to the Antarctic with Scott, the
Oh,
original explorer.
okay.
From Craddock, he was a medical guy, he was a doctor. His grave is just slightly over from where the Harry Potter grave is. And the stories are incredible. Incredible people are buried there. Never mind the people who lived there. I mean, we stayed in Guy Butler's mom's house. How's
Hmm.
that? Yeah. So,
Prof
like,
Butler.
Guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but now think about now, Grahamstown Festival had originated with Guy Butler and others,
Yep,
and
correct.
then the auditorium in the monument is named after him.
Yeah.
And it's like Guy Butler. We grew up with him as this is like legendary figure, mythical figure, and we got to stay in his mom's house where he would have grown up and run around and played.
Hey,
It's
you know,
amazing.
this our,
Hmm.
our country is filled with these wonderful stories, and I'm hoping, although you seem to be keeping to the Eastern Cape for now anyway, I'm
It's just
hoping.
starting from the known to the
Yeah,
unknown. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this is glorious. Now, this is supposedly where it all began.
Yes. Well, when did you say it all began? The launch. So we
Yes.
spoke to our friends at Misty Mountain Reserve, Greg and Tracy. They're just amazing. We went in there and we were like, we want to film, we want to whatever. We paid for our quad biking and everything, and we filmed our quad biking. And they're like, "What are you guys doing?" We talked to them about it. They said, "This is amazing. You should do this." So I said, "Guys, could we come here and launch from here? You guys have
Mhm.
excellent internet and you've got brilliant surroundings, very creative." And they said, "Absolutely. We'll put you in an uninterrupted sort of area."
Mhm.
Guess what? They put us in a tent. Now that is brilliant. It's now the nice thing about it is we get to say the great adventure. We launched our YouTube and all our channels from a tent in Africa. What that photo doesn't show you is when you walk in there, it looks like Kim Bassinger just walked off set because it's like
Yeah.
five-star luxury, the beautiful bath, everything. So as far as don't tell anyone, but we launched from a tent in Africa. It was a five-star glamping, luxurious tent in Africa. But we're tougher than that. So let's just be careful who you tell the story to and how, you know?
So, how many people, when you decided to give up your various careers and your homes and your the ladies in your lives, etc., etc., how many people went, "Are you mad in your head?"
Not enough.
Fair. Fair point. That's what we were hoping for. We were hoping people would go, hang on a second, this is crazy, and here's why. And we had
Yeah.
for every one of those, we had 25 going,
Go for
awesome,
it.
you should have done this years ago. So
You know,
honestly, no adult supervision here.
not enough of the adulting.
No.
Well, hey, we've had enough of the adulting.
You know,
We've
you
done
know
20
this
years of
this is
adulting, and now it's time to go off and
Yeah.
play.
this is what you were saying earlier, Roland, is that we lock ourselves into a situation, into a lifestyle, whatever that lifestyle is, because you need money in order to keep it up. And then in the keeping up, you think you need more and more things, and things weigh you down. And when it comes time to do like you guys have done, and you just go, you know what? Bring in an auction house, sell everything, we're on the road.
Mm,
And what will be will be. What's the worst that we can happen? We'll
mm.
come back when when this adventure is finished, and we'll couch surf with a friend until we get
Yeah.
ourselves back on our feet. That's all.
If I can summarize it, every one of us in every kind of life, you've done something and then it didn't work out. So, for example, you buy a house, you've got all the money, you've got everything, you buy a house in a certain suburb, you then realize, there's a lot of traffic noise, or the water pressure is not great. Something about that suburb isn't perfect for you, or it's far from the kids' school or something.
Yeah.
What do you do now that you bought this house? Do you go, oh, woe is me and die in that house one day? No, you
No.
go, maybe we should change. Maybe we should sell this house and look for another one. Or you get retrenched and you go, oh, well, I'll just die. No, you're going, oh, crap, I need to get another job. And you look for another job. So if something goes wrong in life, most people apply this miraculous high level science fiction approach called change. So if this doesn't work, guess what we're going to do? Change. Do
Change.
something else. Like everyone has to.
There's a
And you can
wonderful
do it in your
book.
life right now. You can do your adventure. And if it doesn't work, you can change. No, you don't have to give up everything, but you can
No.
start writing that book, or you can go to gym, or you can whatever. If it doesn't work, change.
Yeah. There's a wonderful book called, yes. Oh, God. And I knew I was going to do this to myself. But in there is a line that says leap and the artist's way is the name of the book. And in there is a line which I actually have tattooed on my arm saying leap and the net will appear. And it's not necessarily jumping off a
Love
third
it,
story
tattoo.
building and
Mm,
and hoping that the fire brigade will be there with one of those bouncy nets or a stretched blanket or something. But
mm,
just know that
mm.
what is the worst that can happen? At
Yes,
school, if you did something wrong, you got
yes,
caned back in my day.
yes,
That was the
yes.
worst that could happen. They couldn't murder you.
Mm,
What's the worst that
mm.
you can happen if you're in a job now, like you guys were? You decide to change everything. Your creditors send you letters and you go, sorry for you, I have no money. Do
Yeah,
what you like. I have two
yeah,
pairs of shoes and a
yeah.
rocking chair. You can have those and sell them, but I'm
And we have
but
been creditors in our lives. We
yeah,
have had people owe us money. Things happen to them. We wait for the money. We get the money. If the creditors come, if you do owe and they say, "Oh," just say, "Stick with me. I'll sort you out." But
yep,
like everyone at any stage, we all have to wait for our money, and we all have to be patient when we pay our other people's money. So it's not that there's something randomly new. But I love what you're saying. Jump and the net will catch you. It's
yeah.
like the Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams. If you
If,
build it, they
if you
will come.
And that field of dreams, would you believe, guys, is still there to this very day. It's now a
We gotta go
wedding.
visit it.
It's a wedding venue now.
Funny.
Um, and the guy on whose farm they built it saw the potential because that movie was an adult fairy
Epic.
tale. It was as
Yeah.
simple as that,
Yes.
and we've all seen it. We've all
Yes.
seen it. Guys, we're
Yes.
coming to the end of time. This is what happens when you're having fun. One quick last, where can they find you? Can they subscribe? Are you looking for back a buddy, buy me a coffee, that type of thing to keep the channel going?
Do you want to start?
No, you go.
Okay. All right. So it's on Great Adventure, guys. Lets me do the talking.
He really thinks I'm good.
Funny
I
that.
tried. You saw I tried,
You
people. I
did, you did.
tried. He talked more now than he has yet, so I must like you guys. All right. So basically, it's called Great Adventure, guys. We are on TikTok at this point. We're on YouTube. We're on. We've got a page on Facebook. All support is always welcome, which is great, but we haven't got a backer buddy per se at this point in time. We're just going for it, and it's crazy because people are coming alongside us with various things. We can't talk about it yet, but there is a rumor about a double cab wrapped in camo that might be driving
Mhm.
to a city near you shortly.
Wonderful.
Just saying. Watch this space.
Putting it out there. Guys,
That's it.
I
And
wish
then
you
we will go from there. But watch Great Adventure, guys. If you go and subscribe on YouTube, it helps our metrics. It helps pay us eventually from the channel. And if you go and like our Facebook page, it also helps.
great stuff. Roland,
And we'll
Frank,
show you
thank you.
everything.
Yeah, for sure. Except Roland in a Speedo. Don't try that, people.
I'm
Do
I'm
not
trying not
try
to
that at
imagine
home.
anything.
Lemon
Guys,
juice to the eyes.
thank you so very much for joining me here In Conversation With. It's been an absolute blast. I wish you all the best. I'm going to be following you on your YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing some really interesting adventures lying ahead.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
David. It's been a
Really
privilege.
appreciate it.
This has been In Conversation With. I'm David Batsoff, and until the next time, thanks for watching.